Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Baku. I greet all our guests at the annual Global Baku Forum. First of all, I'd like to express my gratitude to you for being with us. And also like to congratulate Nizami Gencevi International Center for extraordinary activity throughout all these years and also in organizing this important international event. We are very proud that the Global Baku Forum now is one of the leading international platforms to address important issues of global agenda. I met yesterday with the board members and like to say today that really we are very grateful to all the members of the center, to its board, and to the co-chairs, Madam Freiberger and Mr. Serageldin, for their contribution in really magnificent transformation of the center and worldwide activity. Also, I'd like to say that we've been very happy to see members of NGIC being very active at COP29, which was held last November in Azerbaijan. Several members of the center were among the advisory committee. The center held 16 panel discussions, actually hosted them and organized them and participated in even more panel discussions with its pavilion. So really that was a big contribution to success of COP29. That was the main international event last year in Azerbaijan. And we really were very proud that we've been selected by unanimous decision of almost 200 countries. That was a sign of respect to us, trust in us, and also appreciation of our activity on green transition. Though we are rich with fossil fuels, but our agenda is to concentrate on renewables. And today it is already fully decided that in coming years, Azerbaijan's renewable energy capacity will be almost equal to its power generation from fossil fuels. Today, installed power generation capacity in Azerbaijan is 8 gigawatt. By 2030, we will have 6.5 gigawatt of additional installed energy capacity from renewables, primarily sun and wind, and also hydro, and hydro mainly in the liberated territories of Azerbaijan. So we will almost double our today's potential, and that will allow us to be exporter of not only oil and gas, but also of green energy. These figures are absolutely realistic. They're based on already signed contracts and MOUs, and we already see the implementation of these projects. So COP29 decision to organize it in Azerbaijan also, I think, was driven by this very responsible approach of Azerbaijan towards its energy resources. Again, like to underline the country which is not in shortage of energy supply. On the contrary, today Azerbaijan is providing energy security for more than a dozen of countries. 12 of them are recipients of Azerbaijani natural gas. 10 out of 12 are European countries. So it's not by chance that the European Commission called Azerbaijan reliable partner and also pan-European energy supplier. So today, oil and gas from Azerbaijan is really making a big change in energy security and strengthen actually energy security of many countries. And when we add to that our green energy sources, with a new energy cable which will stretch from Azerbaijan to Europe, partly on the Black Sea. So that will be another demonstration of our responsibility and close partnership relationship with many countries, because it's not enough to have only energy resources. You have to have good relations with your neighbors and with the neighbors of your neighbors to be able to deliver the projects of energy, security, connectivity. And talking about connectivity, I'd like to say that due to the recent geopolitical change, the volume of cargo transportation through Azerbaijan grew dramatically. And we are well prepared for that because we did already our homework. And now we just need to expand the capacity of our seaport, of our railroad infrastructure, to be able to receive all the cargoes which have been diverted towards Azerbaijan in recent years. So this, of course, adds to geopolitical importance of our region of Southern Caucasus, where we still are working to achieve peace. What else can I say about COP? First, it was very challenging because we had to organize this event in less than 1 year. Usually the countries are given 2 years for preparation, and that was done successfully based on unanimous, opinion. Second, we had to deliver results. And here, our diversified foreign policy helped us, because we just, for 4 years, were chairing non-aligned movement, the institution of 120 countries, and actively supported member states in different situations, including during the COVID time, providing humanitarian and financial assistance to more than 80 countries during COVID. At the same time, with active communications with European actors, we've seen our role as kind of a bridge builder between global South and global North. And I think we achieved the success because it was not easy to agree on many substantial issues during COP29. And one of the milestones, one of the achievements was consensus on Article 6 of Paris Agreement, which was a stumbling block for more than 10 years. So for more than 10 years, parties could not agree on that, but here we managed to achieve the consensus and make the carbon market functional. So this is instrumental for future development of the process. Another important achievement was that at COP29 in Baku, we managed to increase the funding for renewable energy projects from original 100 to 300 billion US dollars. Yes, we know that some countries were not fully satisfied with that. They expected even bigger increase, but I think what we managed to do to triple the financing should be properly appreciated. Therefore, COP29 in Baku is called a Baku breakthrough, and that's important legacy. Also, I'd like to say that, unfortunately, this global international event was accompanied by a campaign in some Western media, which President Trump calls fake news, and I fully agree with him, campaigned to discredit Azerbaijan, to blackmail us, to spread rumors and different disinformations. We've been accused that we are a country with oil and gas production, but before us there have been several countries, including European, which also have oil and gas, but it was okay for this so-called media to ignore that. Azerbaijan's production of oil is 10 times less than production of Canada, just for instance. And our contribution to global gas emissions is only 0.1%. And who are the biggest contributors to global gas emissions, we know. But nevertheless, on a regular basis, sometimes more than a dozen articles daily were aimed to present Azerbaijan as a petrostate, as a country which do not deserve to have this global international event. And all that was generated from several centers, actually two. One in the US State Department, and the fake news like Washington Post, New York Times, Politico, Newsweek, Associated Press were just implementing the instructions of US State Department. Second source was Office of President of France, Mr. Macron, through their fake news media like Monde, Figaro, and others. So it was a coordinated campaign of blackmail and slander aimed at boycott of COP29. The reason, there can be different reasons, but one of them was that they could not impose their will on us. They could not change our policy aimed at full restoration of our sovereignty and territorial integrity. And they could not absorb the fact that here in the Caucasus, there is a country which follows its own national interests and do not say yes, sir, to so-called big bosses. Unfortunately, government of France went even further, advocating for many countries to boycott COP29. We have credible information from world leaders who attended COP29 and informed us about that, and from those who did not come, but conveyed the message that personally, President of France was campaigning against COP29. So this is a kind of politics which do not give credit to anyone. But regardless, we had a big representation. There have been 77,000 of registered participants. Among them, 70 heads of states and government from 197 countries. The only country which boycotted COP29 was Armenia. On Armenia-Azerbaijan process, we cannot and we will not forget the years of occupation and the suffering of Azerbaijani people, which was caused by Armenian occupation and aggression. And those who visit liberated territories can see the level of barbarism. So all our cities are in ruins. Now we are rebuilding them, but everything was leveled to ground. And that was a deliberate herbicide against our villages, cities, against our religious and historical heritage. So they demolished 65 mosques, and in those mosques which were half demolished, they kept pigs and cows in order to insult the feelings of not only Azerbaijanis, but all the Muslims in the world. We will not forget that. We will not forget genocide of Khojaly, when Armenians killed 613 innocent people, more than 60 children and more than 100 women. But at the same time, we need to look to the future, and we need to have peace in Southern Caucasus, and that's why Azerbaijan was the initiator of peace process. Actually, Azerbaijan was even the author of the draft peace agreement, which today is being discussed between Azerbaijan and Armenia and largely agreed. So most of the paragraphs have been agreed. So our fight was a fight for justice, for international law, for our dignity. We implemented UN Security Council resolutions, which remained on paper for 27 years and would have remained for more 27 years more if we did not liberate our land by force. And here we come to a very important factor, that sometimes you have to use force to achieve peace and to restore justice. And today we see it. We see how the European Union is trying to change its policy towards building strong military potential. We see other countries concentrating their resources on building military potential and infrastructure. We've been doing that for at least 20 years, since 2005, and created a strong army which liberated our territory and put an end to separatism and separatists. So today, full restoration of territorial integrity and sovereignty is a demonstration not only of the strong will of Azerbaijani people, but also is a demonstration of international justice. At the same time, of course, as I said, we have good memory. We all remember how current Armenian government behaved prior to Second Karabakh War. We all remember statements by Armenian leader who said that Karabakh is Armenia, and that was said in Hankendi. We all remember how he behaved in the occupied city of Shusha. You can find it in internet. It's a very interesting video. Today, some European bureaucrats try to present Armenia as a dove of peace, but they forget what this current government was doing. They forget that during the Second Karabakh War, they were shelling our cities and villages, and we lost more than 100 civilians because their missiles, including Iskander-M, which was actually forbidden for export. And we still did not get an answer how Armenian army got possession of Iskander-M, because this missile is forbidden in Russia for export. And those who do not believe to what I say, they can just take a drive, maybe 5–10 minutes from here, to our military trophy park, and to see the Iskander-M missile, which we found in Shusha. We found it already in spring 2021, because it was covered by snow, but it was launched to Shusha when we liberated the city. So that was done by order of Armenian Prime Minister. Ganja, Terter, Berda, Mingechevir, Arjabedi, so many other cities were just on a regular shell attack from Armenia. We didn't do it. We were fighting with Armenian army, with occupational Armenian army. They were fighting with civilians. This is a difference. And the same was in First Karabakh War, that they created the so-called buffer zone, but actually they called it like that, but that was occupied territory. They expelled hundreds of thousands of Azerbaijanis, conducted ethnic cleansing. We will never forget it. And I can tell you one more thing, that the level of trust to Armenia is close to zero. So we do not trust any of their words, because they're not people whom we can trust, including today's government. Again, all what they say for us has zero meaning. We need documents, we need papers, we need the constitution to be free from territorial claims to Azerbaijan. It still possesses territorial claim to Azerbaijan. We need Minsk group of OSCE to be dissolved. And we convey this message to Armenia, saying that there is no logic in keeping Minsk group. It was created to address the issue of Karabakh. Now Karabakh is done. Armenia recognizes Karabakh as part of Azerbaijan. Why don't you join us in joint application to OSCE just to dissolve it? And they don't want. So they want to keep some, how to say, part of their feet on the ground, on our territory, now virtually, of course. And their military build-up, what it demonstrates? It demonstrates that they're preparing for new war. And who is pushing them to war again? France and its president. Deadly weapons which they supplied to Armenia are aimed at us. Caesar howitzers, which today are needed maybe in other places, but are being sent to Armenia. So-called European monitoring mission, which actually is a reconnaissance mission of European Union, is day and night spying on our border, looking just for places where they can penetrate. And we have enough intelligence information about this so-called monitoring mission. European Peace Fund is providing millions of dollars to Armenia to weaponize it. Yes, they say they provide this money for non-lethal military installations. But first, who can check it? And second, you give them 10 million, and then another 10 million is planned to be given. So that actually allows Armenia to save money to buy weapons. And not only France is supplying deadly weapons. So why do they do it? For what they're preparing. If they want peace, there's no need for that. And many times we raise this issue with Armenian representatives and with their new bosses in Brussels. Because now they changed, how to say, the big brother, and today it's Brussels. Until President Trump won, it was State Department, it was USAID, it was corrupt American politicians like Menendez, who is now facing serious problems. But Menendez should not be the last one. As they say, one swallow don't make a summer. There are many more who put Armenian money in their pocket. I can name them. Their names are known: Mr. Adam Schiff, Mr. Frank Pellone, Madam Nancy Pelosi, and many others who in decades were receiving money from Armenian diasporal organizations in the United States to attack Azerbaijan and to discredit it. So we wish President Trump success to dry out the swamp. It's not easy, but it must be done. And also, we are ready to share information with American authorities about illegal activity of USAID in Azerbaijan, how they bribed people, how they channeled financing illegally, how they violated Azerbaijani laws and regulations. Now it's time to be responsible for that, and we are ready to provide all the information in our possession. Definitely at the forum, the new geopolitical situation will be discussed, and as you can imagine from my comments, we are very enthusiastic with respect to what is happening now in America. Why? It's very simple. Because policy of Mr. Antony Blinken towards Azerbaijan actually ruined US-Azerbaijani relations, which we were building for 30 years. And we've always been a very reliable partner and friend to the United States. When they needed us, we were with them. When they needed us in Iraq, we were in Iraq with our troops. When they needed us in Afghanistan, we were one of the first non-NATO countries which joined operations in Afghanistan in 2001. And we were among the last who left. But after we left, they imposed sanctions on us. And I remember it was a big frustration in Azerbaijan. I told some of the representatives, how can we trust you? So when you need us, you waive the sanctions, and when you don't need us any longer, You reimpose the sanctions. How can we build relations with you long term? So we are very enthusiastic, first because we in Azerbaijan managed to save US-Azerbaijan relations from total collapse, despite all the efforts of US State Department. And second, that we have hopes that with the new administration, we will rebuild our strong partnership, which always was important for South Caucasus, for peace, for security, for anti-terror operations, for modern development of our region. Definitely, it will be very interesting to listen to speakers today and throughout the forum. As always, I'm sure the forum and its members will generate ideas, generate approaches, especially now when the forum takes place after this dramatic geopolitical change. I once again thank you for being with us. Thank you for accepting our invitation and wish the forum success. Thank you.